Alright guys, welcome back. Couple things before we get started real quick. Last week, last week OBS was clearly cursing me for my hubris and kept me from streaming effectively last week, and unfortunately you guys missed my awesome breakthrough I had with my compact. So today, I'm gonna finish up my compact, I'm gonna recap on what I was planning on doing last week, and then just talking about what worked, what didn't work, and then right after that, I'm gonna jump into a new project. And unlike previous great things that I've done, I've actually got a plan of what I'm gonna do next. I'm thinking next week I am going to I'm gonna finish up whatever project that I'm working on after my compact, and that happens to be a really cool keychain that I'll touch base with after the compact. So, with that said, let's get into the project. Guys, I don't know what it is. I've been having some bad luck with my music, and that makes me really sad. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower it a bit, and hopefully my audio should be good. It's always got to be something, right? But that should be good now. All right. Project time. So, looking at my compact, it already looks different than what I was doing before with you guys. So, one of the things that I struggled with my compact making it the first time around was trying to make it look exactly like my reference picture. I was getting so hung up on the fine details and making it look exactly how I wanted it to look that it just wasn't working with the medium that I was using. So right off the bat, the ribbon idea that I had just wasn't working. I was trying to make everything to scale and just look accurate, and I kind of had to take a step back, and in a way the tech issues last week were a blessing in disguise because it's given me more time to reflect and overall just look at it from a clear lens rather than just staring at the same thing over and over and over again and just getting hung up on the details. So I made some changes right off the bat. I decided to nix the ribbon idea completely. I played around with a new design for my ribbon, and then I started to play around with different star patterns. So instead of making it look exactly how the reference picture looked, I'm gonna do more of an homage to the compact and just do it in a way that kind of references how it looked in actuality, but kind of arrange it in a way that's aesthetically pleasing based on the medium that I'm working with, in this case, Tinkercad. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some fine adjustments to it. I already started doing the stars, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate this star shape over here, and then I'm gonna do a smaller shape in here, in between the star and my bow, and then the big star over here, kind of do like a size like directly in between them. And then I'm gonna duplicate that and bring it to the other side as well to create an equi pattern. From there, I might play around with colors a little bit. I think I have the heart where I want it to be. I like the mirror etching that I have. I might do a little bit more with the back of my compact. But overall, I think we're almost done with this, and then we can move on. So I'm gonna first highlight my star over here, and then I'm going to focus in on it a little bit, zoom out slightly. Oh, before I forget, I want to touch on the bow design, because that was one of my biggest struggles, is trying to get an accurate bow shape. I played around with some spheres and the whole feature, and I arranged them in a way to make this bow shape just more aesthetically pleasing to me based on everything else that I have going on. I don't know. I think I liked how creative it was, how I had the bow before, and using different shapes that you wouldn't normally think to make a bow with. But the biggest thing was the angles that it had going on. It was just too harsh of a contrast compared to the curves of the rest of my compact. Oh, excuse me. Of the rest of my compacts. So I wanted to make it more curvy to fit what I'm going with the design. So I ended up going with spheres and the whole feature and just playing around with that. And I kept the star that was in the middle as is. I might have changed the color a bit. I can't remember if it was a brighter neon yellow or the pale yellow. But I think the pale yellow works a lot better with the pale pink I have. And then I want to keep the gem as is, because the gem can be a little bit brighter because it's supposed to emulate a gem that is bright and reflective and eye-catching. So I kind of want to keep that as is, but I might make it a little bit darker. We'll see. We'll see what works. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a duplicate of my star. Then I'm going to drag out the copy. Oh, Tinkercad, why are you playing? So, duplicate? Why aren't you duplicating, Tinkercad? What's up with that? Let's try this again. Duplicate. Something tells me it's not going to work. Alright, well, when in doubt, we'll just start from scratch. So I'm going to go look for my star shape, and I'm going to drag it out to my work plane. Come on. Why? Click and drag. That is very irritating. Just can't be easy today, guys, huh? Alright, so let's try this. I'm gonna exit out of my window, and then I'm gonna reopen it and see if it calms down. Well, I guess that worked. Oh. Alright, so go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. So now that we have our star finally on the work plane, now I am going to scale it down. I think I'm gonna rotate it a little. I have to zoom in a little more. I'll focus. Curve going. Oh, not that one. This one. Okay. So I might flatten it a little more. Shrink it down slightly. Might be too similar to the star and the bow. Let's find out. Gonna back in on it, back it up, and then do a top view. Actually, no, I think it's a decent size. I might shrink it down a little bit more, just so it's not touching the star or the bow too much. Let me zoom out. Okay, I like that a lot. So I think this color right here is the yellow that I had originally, but I'm gonna go ahead and change it to the pale pink, the pale yellow. So I'm going to go over here to my color picker window, quite a tongue twister, and I'm going to pick that pale yellow. Very nice. And now, again, as always, it's important to look at your shape from all different angles because from a bird's eye perspective, it looks fine, but if I move my camera slightly, it's clearly floating in empty space, and we ain't about that. So I am going to lower it down by clicking on my little cone over here and just gently lowering it down into my compact. All right. I dig it. So now the fun part. Now it's just a matter of duplicating my stars and just moving them over here and making sure that it's lined up correctly. So let's see if the duplicate tool will work for me this time. All right, so it's still highlighted, so far so good. Let's try the old click and drag. So, moment of truth. Beautiful. Okay. And then duplicate. Perfect. Easy peasy. Except for the times that it's not easy peasy. Might have to lower it a little bit. Top view. Oh yeah, I have to lower it slightly. Much better. I love it. It is just so cute, and it doesn't look exactly like how it did in the reference picture, but it's still aesthetically pleasing. You can still tell what it's supposed to be. Even if you don't know Sailor Moon, you still can see that it's some sort of compact with a cute little heart and star pattern. The bow looks more like a bow. You can clearly see what that's supposed to be. And I just like it a whole lot. I'm really happy with how it came out compared to what it looked like before. So I'm gonna quickly look at the back. Do I want to add more to the back? I'm kind of realizing that I have the too much gene going on with me a lot of the time, where I want to keep messing with something and getting it perfect and ooh, what about this idea? What about that idea? And I just keep going with it until the point that it just doesn't look good anymore and there's really no going back. So I'm trying to be better with that. And I don't know, like I don't think I'm gonna add much more to my compact, at least the top part of it. I really like the gem in the middle. I think it's the right size in terms of proportion. I like the border of the compact part versus the gem. I think it's evenly centered. So I think I'm gonna leave that as is. And then the heart gem in the middle of my compact when it's in the open portion over here, I think it's evenly lined up with the mirror. So if I were to close my compact, it should fit into place. So I'm not gonna mess with that. We already talked about completely nixing the ribbon idea because it's just too flowy. And we're working primarily with geometric shapes, so it's really hard to get that like organic and free-flowing essence going, i.e. a ribbon. I could use the scribble tool, but it just doesn't look right. So I'm gonna nix the ribbon, and I think we're done. All right. So, let me know your guys' thoughts on the compact in the comments below. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts on the progression of how we started it versus how we ended it. And eventually, I would like to come back to some sort of Sailor Moon project. I was playing around with the idea of creating her wand. So, if you would like to see that come to life, let me know down below. Um, I already named my project, so I don't have to worry about that. And once I hit the Tinkercad logo at the top left corner, then my project will be saved to my account. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And if there's ever a point where I want to go back and add to my compact, I can just click on the file and pick up where I left off. So there's my compact. And now I'm about to create a new design. Man, I'm really bummed out about my music, guys. I miss my bitty music. Hopefully we can get that back up and running at some point, but it was giving me issues last stream too. I don't know what's up with that, but technology can be silly. Well, that's all I gotta say. So what are we gonna do now? As I said before, I do have a little bit more of a plan going into this stream. I want to make a specific keychain, and one idea that I had was based on a video game that I was playing recently. Two of my good friends, Evan and Chase, had gotten me Luigi's Mansion 3 for my birthday this year, and I've been playing it a lot the past week, and I love it so much. And I was between making a Toad keychain and what's the dog's name? Polterpup. I was debating making a Polterpup either action figure or a keychain with him. But I really like Toad. I love their little ah wah 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 noises that they make, and they're just so goofy and silly. And I love them in other games as well. Toad was actually my main in Mario Kart 64 when I would play with my dad and my sister growing up. So I'm gonna go with making Toad. So I'm gonna plan out how I'm gonna go about doing it first. I can either go the pixel art way, or I could actually make Toad as like an action figure and give it the little hoop for the keychain so I can stick it on a chain later. I'm gonna try to make the 3D version of Toad rather than going the pixel art way, just because I've already done a pixel art piece before. And there's also another pixel art piece that I have in the works that I'm gonna do eventually. One of my favorite games is the Legend of Zelda series, and I wanted to do a pixel art version of Link's Hylian shield. Or maybe the Deku shield, I don't know. I kind of like the Hylian shield better in terms of design and pops of color, so I might go ahead and do that. But I definitely want to do that as pixel art just to make, because it's easier to get all the fine details with the intricate etchings in the shield. So that's something I definitely want to do, and I don't want to keep doing pixel art stuff. I kind of want to broaden my horizons, so to speak. So going back to the project, I'm gonna just make a Toad and go from there. So, planning out my Toad, I know right off the bat I want to do some squashing and stretching with a cylinder. And I want to get a sphere for, like, the mushroom hat he has. Then I'm going to do the body, and his vest that he wears might be a little tricky. I'm probably going to use some sort of triangle or pyramid shape to get that and just flatten it. But we'll see what works, what doesn't work, and then we could always come back to it and make adjustments as we go, kind of like what we did with the compact. Sometimes the first try doesn't work, and that's okay. The important thing is trying, and trying again, and having fun while you're doing it. So I'm going to start out with the sphere. I'm going to drag it on. And I kind of want to, first I'm going to scale it a little bit. Get a little bigger. Going to float it up. And then I'm going to stretch it. Okay. Because it's not like a perfect sphere, it's more of like an oval. I don't even know if oval's the right word. Maybe oblong? I don't even know what the difference is. Shapes, man. But I'm gonna use a cylinder as his head, and I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna flatten it a little bit. And then oh, go back. I'm going to move it directly under my sphere, or at least try to. It just really wants to stretch it again. There we go. Then I'm gonna lift it up into my, it might be off a little bit. Yeah. Oh. Oh. I guess we'll lower this down. Hey. No, I kind of want it to be, no, I think it might be easier. Alright. I'm gonna look at it from a bird's eye view, make sure it's evenly on there. That looks good. Add some more. Alright. So I want his head to be more of a peach color. I want the pale yellow. No, I don't really like that color. I do like the pale orangey peach. And then I want his cap to be white. And then I'm gonna do like the little red spots all over it. I might lower it down a little bit more. Better. Alrighty. So now I'm gonna start doing the little speckly spots, and I'm gonna make them red to kind of emulate that mushroom shape. So let's see. Do I want a sphere or do I want a cylinder and just flatten that down? We'll try a sphere. Let's see. Okay. Oh, where'd it go? Oh! Just made a little sphere tower over there. Alright. I'll scale it first. Whoop. Now I'm gonna flatten it like a pancake. And I'm gonna lift it up. And then I'm just gonna stick it on there. I'd have to lower it a little more. Okay. Oh. Still not quite on there. I'll lower it down a little bit. Okay. Now I'm gonna change that to red. There we go. Alright, it's definitely looking more toad-like. On to the next one. So, this one I'm gonna make a little bit bigger. And then I'm gonna flatten it on the top. I'm thinking the top part is gonna be the hardest. So we'll see what we can do with that. Make it red. I'm gonna give it the old bird's eye. And then I'm gonna try to stick it. Now, the top part of my shape is curved like this and almost like an arc shape. So it might be hard to get a flat shape on there and fit the form without getting warped in a weird way. So we'll see what works. If not, we might have to improvise a little bit. Lower it down. Alright, that works. Alright. Now I'm gonna mess around with this side. I'm gonna focus, zoom out slightly, scale it down. This one I'm actually gonna stretch a little bit because I don't want them all to be the same exact like dimension. I kind of want to create a little bit of asymmetry just to make it look more mushroomy, if that makes sense. Okay, I like that. Pancake time. Now I'm hungry. Ugh. Now we're gonna load her up. Lower it. Stick it on there a little bit more. Yeah, that might be a little bit of a challenge. Because this is where it's really starting to curve. And if I stick it flat too much, then it's not gonna be attached down here. So I might have to shrink it some more. Oh. Let's bring it back here. Have to scale it down a little. Okay. Pancake time 2. Electric Boogaloo. I don't know what it is, but every time I hear something 2, I have to say Electric Boogaloo. It just be like that. So here we are. Okay. Did I accidentally just do the home improvement noise? I did. Comment below if you guys even know what home improvement is. It's actually a really funny like slice of life comedy show. I forget what channel it used to be on, but it's got Tim Allen on it. And who is that child actor? The name is giving me a brain fart, but it was one of those names that had like, was it Jonathan Taylor Thomas? It was like one of those like 3 first name names. And it like I'm so mad that I can't remember who it was, but I want to say Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I might have to go look that up once we're done streaming. That is a really cool name, though. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. See, it's frustrating because it looks right on the side, but then when I put it here, it looks like somebody smacked a dinner plate on my toad. I'm thinking... I have an idea. So, I think the trick is to not make it as thin. It's okay if it could be a little bit oblongish, but if it has that extra roundness, it won't appear as, like, dinner platey on the side. So I'm gonna make that red again, and let's try this. So I'm gonna lift it up. And then, yes, okay. That looks so much better. I mean, it juts out a little bit more than I'd like. I might push it back a little bit. Not all the way, just a little bit. Perfect. Okay. Nice. It's kind of oh. I didn't realize how off-centered it was. I don't want to move that. I want to move this. Alright, better. Still kind of off-center, but we can play around with that later. Alright, so we just have the back and the left-hand side. His right, our left. So alright, so lesson learned. On the curved parts, if we keep it more of a sphere and make it less flat, then it'll complement and just fit the overall mushroom head better. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring out another sphere. I want this to be bigger. I'm gonna stretch it out. I'm gonna make it red. I don't know if I want it that big. I'll scale it down slightly. Okay. And now I'm gonna try to attach it over here. Still might be a little big. Can we do it? Alright. And now we just have a little speck on this side to do. And then we can start making the face. And since this is also a curved side, I'm just gonna keep it a sphere, scale it down, change the color, and then bing bang boom. Alrighty. So I want this to be significantly smaller, about yay big. I'm gonna change it to red, lift it up, and then plop it down. I have to shrink it, not shrink it, but lower it a little bit. All right. See, now it's bothering me because the little red dot in the front and on the top is very flat, whereas the others are curved. So I'm thinking I have to get rid of them and redo them in the sphere shape to keep it consistent. But let's test out that theory. Shrink it down. I still want this to be pretty small. Keep it red. And then actually, there we go. there. This way. Oh, that's very bulbous. We don't want a bulbous little dot. We just want a dot dot. It's okay if it's slightly bulbous, but that's too much. I like the placement. I just want to push it back so it's not as jutty outy. Alright. That's okay for now. We can always push it back more later. Same thing for the one on the top. I want to scale it down. Actually, no. I want to make it bigger. Okay. Make that red. Make sure that looks okay. Ah, the one on the front's really irking me. Alright. Maybe I can... There we go. Alright. So we got a little mushroom hat cap thing. I dig it. I could sit here and play around with the placement of them as we go, but I think I like it so far. I might mess around with it a little bit later. But I think we're ready to lift her up and start making the face. So, I want to make sure that my toad head is completely highlighted in blue. And then I'm going to click on my clone, and then if everything goes as planned, I can then lift up the whole thing without grouping them all together. And normally when we're working in 3D, we want to group our shapes together so the 3D printer will read it as one whole object and it won't like come apart as it prints. But for this, I still want to keep my colors. And I personally don't have a 3D printer here in my house. So when I'm ready to have access to a 3D printer, I can go back in, group it together, and print it. But for now, I'm going to leave it ungrouped just to keep it simple and keep my colors intact. Because a lot of times when you group it together, unless you have the multicolor thing selected, then it's just going to change all of your colors to one solid color. And I don't want that right now. So, I'm going to keep it ungrouped and we'll just keep building. So I think I want, which side do I like the best? I think I want this to be the front. So Toad has, he doesn't have a super detailed face. He almost has like either a triangle or a semicircle mouth, and he has like long oval eyes that are completely black. In some games he has a little pupil, some it's just a solid black color. But I'm thinking I'm gonna use a sphere again. I'm gonna stretch it and then shrink it. Actually, I think I want to scale it down. I keep making the mistake of trying to elongate it before I scale it down. And if I try to squash and stretch before I scale it, um, then it just makes it a lot harder to read which vector point I'm trying to pull it in by, and then it starts getting all janky. So I just have to remember to scale it down to the right size first and then start pulling it. So I'm gonna hold shift and bring it in. See, it's still doing the thing where I think it's the how far away I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and focus on that shape. And now I'm gonna do it. Alright, so it's still a little bit janky. I don't know why exactly that is. I think it's because I'm trying to do it all in one go. I might have to click off of it and then click back and pull it in that way instead of just trying to do it in one clean sweep. I think the smaller I make it, the harder it is for my mouse to register the vector point I'm clicking on. Alright. I'm gonna zoom in on that. And then I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna make it black. Okay. Back to the home view. All right. Might have made the eye a little too long. I like that. Okay. Duplicate that. Try to get it as even as possible. I'm gonna have to push it back in a little bit more. Oh, but I like his cute little eye. Alright. I think that's pretty good. Alright. Now for the mouth. So quick note. The way that I'm currently seeing the live chat, I don't have that program on my computer. So I'm using my phone to see all of your lovely comments. And I kind of MacGyvered a little setup over here. I don't think you can see it with my camera, but I have it set, my phone set on top of this AC adapter that was on the desk, and it actually makes a really good stand. So I can see your comments. It's not falling off like my setup that I had in my previous stream. So I like it. I might keep doing it because it works. But yeah, if you see me like reaching over here or looking down, I'm just looking at the live chat. Okay. So how much time we got? It's 2:45. We have roughly 15 minutes left. I'm thinking I could figure out how I want to do the mouth, plop it on there, and then start laying the groundwork for the body. And then next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the body, and then do the actual keychain part, and then go from there. So how do I want to do the mouth? I kind of want to keep the curvature going, because right now I'm working with a lot of curvy shapes. If I use a triangle for the mouth, I'm just afraid that it's going to be too much of an extreme contrast against everything else, and it just won't look right. So I'm trying to think of how I can best get a mouth shape, but still keeping that curvature going. I think the round roof is perfect. I just have to flip it and stick it. So I'm gonna click and drag. I'm gonna give it the old flipperoo. Then I'm going to focus on that. I'm gonna scale it down. I think that's a good size. And then I just want to actually, I don't want to flatten it because, again, we're working with a curved cylinder shape for the head. So if I flatten it too much, then it's not going to fully stick on there. I need a little bit of extra mass to fit through my shape so it captures the curve and fits on there a little bit more snug. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Focus on it, zoom out, lift it up. Change the color. What color do I want? I have an idea. So, what I'm thinking of doing is, so I have my mouth over here. I'm going to focus in on that. And I kind of want to have, I want to add at least a little bit of detail. So I'm thinking, what if I duplicate this shape, scale it down, and then one color I could do like the mouth part in like black or like a dark color. And then have the smaller scaled down version to be like the tongue part to make it just have a little bit of an illusion of depth. So let's try that. If that's too complicated, then I'm just gonna leave it as just the shape and just change it to a mouth, I don't know, mouth color, and then go from there. We'll see what works. So I'm gonna duplicate that. I really hope this works. Then I'm going to scale this down, bring it up. Do I need to maybe flip it? Let's try flipping it, if it'll let me. Hard to get it precisely. So I'm thinking, no. Make that black. Make this red. I'd like it to be more centered. I'd have to shrink it a little bit more. I really hope this works. Please. It's like still too jutty. Alright, let's try this. I actually really like it. It's like perpetually stuck in the wah, like that. I can't even do it like when Toad does that like wah 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 noise, kind of like Luigi but more like raspy. It's kind of like stuck in that like ah, and I love it. Oh, it is so cute. I might have to stick it on there a little bit more, but that is cute. I was really hoping that worked. I'd be okay with getting rid of like the tongue part and just leaving it black or red. But I was really hoping the little tongue part worked. And I could always lower it and adjust it as needed. Maybe I should have reflipped it. We could play around with that later. I might save that part for next week just because I kind of want to take some time to step away from my work and reevaluate and then look at it from a clear lens like I did with my compacts and then make some changes based on a new look on it rather than just staring at it repeatedly and being stuck and like caught in this rut, so to speak. So I'll leave it alone. Now I'm gonna start planning out the body. Let's see, it's 2:53, now 2:54. I'm gonna start planning out the body. I'm not gonna lay anything down in terms of like attaching it to Toad, but I'm gonna start pulling out my shapes just to see what could work, what might not work, etc. So let's see what shape. I'm thinking maybe a sphere for his body, and then putting 2 triangles for his like vest part, because he has like a little like triangle shaped blue vest. He has his like bare stomach out, and then he wears like almost like a diaper for his pants. So I'm just trying to figure out what could be the best shape for it. And again, I'm kind of realizing that it's not going to look exactly like Toad, but it's going to be an homage to Toad. As long as you can tell what I'm trying to make, that's all I care about. So I'm going to drag out a sphere, and then I can stretch it out. Looking at it next to... I'm not attaching it to the head yet, but kind of like comparing it to the shape. I'm gonna make that his body. And then his vest. I'm thinking a scaled down roof might work. I'm going to change it to the color of his vest. He has like a dark blue, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think that's the right color. I'm going to duplicate that. Not going to stretch it out. Silly mouse. Is it doing the thing again? Okay, it's not doing the thing again. I'm gonna lift it up, and I'm not gonna quite attach it yet, but I'm just gonna get it placed. Just so I kind of have a visual of what it could potentially look like. So I'm gonna lower that more next week and figure out how that fits. And then, how do I want the diaper part to look? I might do this shape. Flip it again. Or maybe do I want a cylinder? I'll take a cylinder out too, just in case, but I'm thinking this would be a good diaper shape. Make it white. I might have to scale it up a little bit. I like it from a frontal view, but I don't know about from the other sides. I'm thinking maybe the sphere might be better as a diaper. Or like a combination of the two. Now I'm thinking the sphere. But we shall see. So we have the vest. We have the diaper part, maybe. I might take out a couple of spheres for the legs and arms. I'll make them skin color. Just so I know what I'm going to use them for. I'll take out 2 more. Same thing. So 2 will be for the arms. 2 will be for the legs. And then we'll make the keychain part. All right. I'm going to start saving it up. So I think I might have mentioned this before, but up here on Tinkercad, if you don't name it right away, it's going to automatically randomly generate a name. Right now, my name for my project is Swanky Borwo JX. Swanky Borwo JX. So I'm going to go ahead and nope out of that. And I'm going to name it Toad. Toad Project. Project-y. Toad Keychain. Keychain Project. Neat. All right. And then once I have it named, gonna hit the Tinkercad logo. And good. I've got my compacts. I've got my assortment of Toad over here. And then we'll pick it up next week. Before I close it out, I just want to give a quick shout out to Nick for being a super awesome engineer and being super patient with me as I deal with my OBS tech issues. So Nick, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who's participated in the live chat and has commented on my videos and helped me keep a conversation going. So thank you guys for being so awesome. I want to thank everyone else who's participated in our YouTube channel, the admin team for the DAE, all of my awesome fellow instructors. If you haven't already, please, please, please check out some of the rest of our videos. The create and hangs are super fun, and you could always interact with the instructors as they go. Check out Rob's tech tips. They're super helpful in learning how different technology works, and some of them are even geared towards our classes. So if you're interested in those, please check them out. And I will see you guys next time. So let me go over here, and then I'm going to clickety clack. There we go. All right, I think we're good. All right, so signing off now. I'll catch you guys next time.